So the neighborhood school that we opted not to send Amina to is probably less than 50 feet away from our front door. Unfortunately, there's been footage of school fights that have debuted on the news, and just the whole notion of sending our child to an environment where the administrators can't even really control the day-to-day, we weren't willing to take that chance for our daughters.
What educational privilege means is that people have choice, and it's minority families concentrated mostly in our large urban districts that don't have choices. They have to attend their neighborhood catchment school, which has been failing for decades, for generations.
Choice shouldn't be limited to those people who have money and mobility. Parents who choose to send their children to charter schools are making a choice, and to preclude them from having that choice, I think, undermines the city's bright prospects.
Getting into a charter is a chance, it's not choice. You're entering a lottery and hoping that your number gets picked. It's not school choice.
We actually went to one of the charter lotteries, and it was an auditorium full of parents fighting for entrance to a school for 15 slots.
I mean, I think in terms of fairness, charter schools, the students who have that ability to get enrolled into another school and go there, you know, it's really great for them, but what does that mean for the students who can't do that?
And just to watch name after name be called, and to know that your child's name wasn't called, and then have your child ask you, so am I going to the school? And you have to say to your child without crying, no, your name was not chosen.
And I think the more that those perspectives of young people who value education and have the family involvement are taken from public schools, I just think it becomes harder and harder for us to have any sort of quality public education system in our city.
We cannot, with our existing policy tools, figure out how to turn around a school that's been failing for 30 years. What we can do is give those parents more high-quality options.
I think it's not fair that certain parents don't have the choice to look elsewhere. That all they know is that that's the choice that was given to them, and they don't have the option of getting out.
Those who oppose charter schools, district restructuring, or any other reform don't seem to have any better ideas or any ideas at all.
The school district gets $2 billion to educate children, and they haven't done it. They can't do it. They don't know how to do it. In any business, they would be bankrupt. But we continue to support something that's failing.
And New Orleans is every year, there's a bell curve, right? They take the bottom 10% of schools, they close them, and they expand the top 10% of schools. So the quality of schools shifts over time. That's a really powerful model, but it's politically very challenging because there's nothing harder than a school closure.
You know, I think the primary difference is that they see a free market as the larger structure that can provide quality education to students. And in the big picture, I see that structure, and other public school advocates see that structure as incredibly harmful.
The more that it gets viewed as a business, you know, you have to be growing, you have to have certain numbers, and you have to be doing all of these things. And I think the more that things head in that direction, the more that the just wanting to provide a quality education fall to the side.
If public schools are not a business, what are they? $2 billion, is that a business?
And so if we're going to open new schools, we're going to have more innovative models. We have to acknowledge that some schools aren't going to work, and we're going to have to close them. And it's painful and it's hard, but over time, if you're doing that, you're going to build a better system.
The embedded assumption in that analogy is that we're just consumers of education, and all we have to do is pick the best service and, like, you know, open and shut case, it will be so easy. And it's never that easy. Like, we're building a society over here.
Congratulations, Missy. Of all the left-wing maniacs I've encountered the past few years, we're the left-wingiest. Yay. Wingies.
Go to the back, Rosa Parks. Go to the back of the bus, Rosa Parks. Go to the back and stay. No, I won't. I think that's unfair, and I'm just too tired today. But everyone knows the rules, Rosa Parks. Everyone knows if you're black, you can eat at white restaurants, and on buses you sit in the back.
There's no other sector of the economy that has changed as little as that public education. If an alien were to come down from wherever they come from, and they were to look at a school in 1905 versus 2005, they'd be hard pressed to figure out that 100 years had passed.
When we look at things like innovation, innovation can be instructional models, it can be instructional practices. Innovation can also mean things like scheduling, how we deploy resources, how we deploy staff.
I became involved because I care passionately about educating kids and providing all kids, despite their backgrounds, their hardships, opportunity for a good education and to open doors that perhaps might not have been opened before.
That assertion assumes and actually concludes that innovation, creativity, and leadership are not things, not characteristics that one might find in a traditional public educational environment. And I reject that.
So that, again, the notion that, oh, well, it's only charter schools that really have the freedom to make things better, that's not true.
I mean, if you look at the beginning of charters, they were founded for, I think in my opinion, in a good way. You know, the whole intention behind it is let's have a separate place where we can be innovative and we can try things. And if they're successful, let's bring them back to the public system. But obviously we have seen it really veer away from that initial intention.
Well, they clearly said that their job was to come and save poor people. The charter school provider clearly said that that is his mission in life, to save poor people. Nobody asked him to come save us.
Schools need to be places that the community members have a say, because if we're just going to come in and try and say, we know what you need, we know how your students will best succeed, and we know what will help your community, right? That doesn't succeed because that's not a genuine relationship. You know, relationships are give and take, relationships are working together, and that's not what's happening.
We're not saying that we don't need help. We're not saying that we don't need assistance and resources. What we're saying is give us the opportunity to identify what we need.